My name is Dominique Russell. I'm the co-chair of the Kensington Market Community Land Trust, and I am also the founder of Friends of Kensington Market. The Land Trust in Kensington is it's the culmination of a lot of work and a lot of community organizing. I think land trusts are really important because of that long view. But the impact of the particular solution of land trusts, I think, is it has a ripple effect that's really important to preserving neighborhoods and community involvement.
Kensington Market can't be defined by one thing. I think everyone would have a slightly different definition of what Kensington Market is. But for the city, it's a very special place. Before I was the elected representative for Kensington, I was in a prolonged fight alongside Kensington residents against a proposed Walmart on Bathurst Street.
For many residents, Kensington Market is about more than a shopping experience. Deemed a National Historic Site of Canada, many say a Walmart just doesn't belong. A petition to keep the retail giant off the block began Sunday night, and support grew beyond expectations.
On Monday I looked and there were 250 signatures, and I thought, hey, that's great. And then it's exploded, and we're at 45,000 signatures.
Friends of Kensington Market was started in response to Walmart trying to set up shop on Bathurst Street at the site of the old Cromer radio. And it really mobilized the community. I mean, we're really just absolutely horrified at the idea of having a Walmart in our midst. There's a very deeply entrenched community here, people who have lived here basically their whole adult life, right? Because they chose to live in Kensington Market. We really want Kensington Market to continue as a community, right? Where people can spend their whole lives. One of the main things that the Land Trust will do is it'll keep properties under the control of the people who care about the market, for reasons other than just, trying to make a lot of money off it.
Friends of Kensington's first annual general meeting, we had sort of an initial analysis of the neighborhood, what people really wanted. And it was the point where we were starting to really talk about the gentrification and the effects of gentrification. And one of the key things that people felt at that time, which was 2013, I guess 2014, was the balance, that there was this beautiful balance in the market, and that we could see the balance shifting, and that affordability was really key. People were starting to lose their homes, and you could see the gentrification starting to happen so quickly. And I remember being at a meeting at an AGM where I just thought, it's now or never. Like, we have to get this idea off the ground.
I love the way that this neighborhood mixes commercial and residential uses in a really integrated way. So you can live here and it can feel like home, and it can feel like a neighborhood where I know the people I pass on the street, and I can buy my vegetables at the corner store around the corner. So this building behind me, 56 Kensington, is a very interesting history, and more recently a very typical history for this neighborhood, which is that the building was bought about 4 years ago by a new landlord who had a very typical plan, which was to kick the residents out, upgrade the units, and then re-rent them at substantially increased rents. The residents were all given eviction notices, I believe it was New Year's Day 2019. And thankfully, people were familiar with the building and the residents. There's relationships with some of the tenants in the building. And so there was an ability to do a very quick organizing effort to get to people and say, you don't need to leave. You have rights as a tenant. The landlord does not have the right to simply kick you out for the purpose of renovating the building. And it was that organizing and those relationships that formed the basis of what we were able to do. So that when that building came on the market a few years later, we were aware of it. And because we'd, through that process, developed very good relationships with our city councillor, Mike Layton, and with other people in the neighborhood, we were able to put together a team, move quickly, get some financial support from someone in the neighborhood, put a deposit on the building, and then work very quickly to what led to a generous contribution from the City of Toronto that enabled us to put the financing together to buy the building.
The land trust came back and said, you know what, we have the opportunity to buy the building. How do we get the money together? And then we entered into a discussion with city staff about what they would need, with my office about how much money I could come up with, and the land trust had to do the due diligence of figuring out what their business model would be.
Part of why it was so extraordinarily quick was because this work had been done before. Mike Layton understood who the tenants were, how important that building was, and he really believed in the land trust model.
There's so much energy and expertise in Kensington Market from such a wide range, and in this case, they self-organized and they were ready to go. It is very rewarding when you get to see and start things like what the land trust is undertaking and be involved in that in some way. And the fact that we're setting something up that's going to exist 100 years from now is pretty incredible, and that means a lot.